Oh, yeah. So the other day I was on Twitter and I saw that the NBA posted these interesting facts about the Oklahoma City Thunder. It reads 51 double-digit wins for OKC this season. That's the most in NBA history, surpassing the 1971-1972 Los Angeles Lakers. So I took that tweet and I posted it on Reddit. And I added, the most disrespected one seed in NBA history.
With its smallest slice yet, down to 15%, is Oklahoma City. I don't know that they feel like, okay, we proved we're clearly better than the Lakers. Both those games were in their building. They needed the second one way more than the Lakers did from an emotional standpoint. And I thought the Lakers had walked them down and were going to beat them. They might be playing the Warriors. Their path just to the conference finals got harder. They're down to 15%. Up to 25% is the Los Angeles Lakers.
The Oklahoma City Thunder this season have been breaking all kinds of records. First of all, they have 66 wins. They're leading the entire league, Eastern Conference and Western Conference, in wins for the season. And they have arguably the MVP of the league in SGA, whether you're a Jokic fan or not. It doesn't matter because the team itself is beyond any team in the league right now. And they are third in the NBA in offensive rating, only trailing the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. But it's not just that. Like, forget the most disrespected one seed in NBA history. Statistically, the Thunder are the best team in NBA history. They have outscored their opponents by 12.6 points per game. That is the best point differential for any team in 79 seasons. 79 seasons! The Thunder have outscored their opponents by 1,006 points. I don't remember a team that was mauling over the entire NBA since the Celtics last year. And before that was probably those 73-9 Warriors. When we're talking about overall dominance, these teams are in a class of their own in terms of the modern NBA. And then you can go back and talk about the Bulls, and even a couple of those Lakers teams. But for a team to be this dominant and still be so disrespected by so many fan bases around the NBA.
So what did we learn about the Lakers and the Thunder in these last two games?
Could be a sweep. But
I think we'll sweep them.
That needs to be studied. So when I posted this on Reddit, I heard people saying,
no, wait a minute. Not a disrespected one seed. Look at the Cavs of this season.
Okay, well, let's look at the Cavs. Let's look at a comparison between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers of this season. Look at the offensive rating, and I mean, Cleveland is number 1 in the league, but the Thunder are only 3rd in that department, so they're beating them by what, 2 points? That's not that big of a gap in comparison to the defensive rating. And then if you look at the overall record, I mean, the Thunder have 66 wins, the Cavs have 63. Even if you just look at these two simple factors, you can see why the Thunder are hedging ahead of the Cleveland Cavaliers without even digging too deep. So if you're looking at the disrespect level, I mean, one team is a better team on paper, yet everybody's saying that they're going to be out in the second round.
But the Thunder did force 18 turnovers in the game, scored 29 points over those.
I hear you.
And they still
I'm just
come be
being
at
real.
number
That's how
one. They
it's
still
at the
come be at
Thunder,
number
though.
one.
Like,
They have the
listen,
top-rated defense in the league, so.
I hear
What are
you.
you talking about?
With all that being said,
I say
we're up 1.
could be a sweep.
People are saying that same thing about Cleveland, and they don't deserve it at all. But Oklahoma City should not be getting this type of talk even further than Cleveland because they have a better overall record and they have a better net rating. Plus, they have probably the next MVP of the league. And I mean, even if you think Jokic should be the MVP, Shea would be second. I don't think you're putting Donovan Mitchell above him. So, I mean, if we're just talking about teams of this season, Oklahoma City is the most disrespected one seed in the NBA. But let's look a little deeper. A lot of people were saying the Atlanta Hawks of 2015. Let's look at these guys. So the Atlanta Hawks of 2015 had 60 wins. So already, they're 6 wins behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I mean, that team was led by Paul Millsap. I mean, they were a good squad for the Eastern Conference, but they couldn't do anything else out in the West. And they had a net rating of 5.8, while the Oklahoma City Thunder, again, have a net rating of 12.6. They're crushing them. They had a defensive rating of 103.1 compared to the Thunder's 107.7. So they had a better defensive rating than the Thunder. However, when it came to the offense, the Thunder have an offensive rating of 120.2, while the Hawks have a rating of 108.9. So they were scoring at a way higher clip, more efficient, more everything compared to the Atlanta Hawks of 2015. And of course, the game has changed. There's a lot more threes being shot, etc., etc. But in terms of historic, in terms of the amount of teams that the Thunder are just mauling through, in terms of how balanced this squad is, no, the 2015 Atlanta Hawks couldn't do anything compared to the Thunder. And for that very reason, the disrespect that the Atlanta Hawks were getting, although might have been more than they deserved, is not compared to the disrespect that the Thunder are getting for being a team that is that much better. And yet, when you hear people talk about them, it's as if they're just trying to sneak into the playoffs. Like they're a play-in team. Make it make sense. But let's compare some more, okay? How about those 2016 Warriors? I mean, I don't know why somebody brought this team up, because at the time when the Warriors were mauling through every team, they were getting the flowers that they deserved. Everybody was saying they're about to win a championship. And they had already won in the past. And they looked like they were going to win again. And nobody was saying,
Oh, they just snuck in. Oh, they're too young. The veteran team's going to beat them. They're the fake 1 seed.
And all these foolish narratives that people were just gassing up online that had nothing to do with the statistics and nothing to do with the games being played and watching what you saw with your eyes. Everybody thought the Warriors were going to maul through the playoffs. And they pretty much did until they met LeBron in the finals. But people don't even think the Thunder are going to make it past the second round. For a team that is putting up these historic figures, you can't compare them to the 2016 Warriors. Another team that people want to say was a more disrespected 1 seed was the Toronto Raptors of 2017-2018. So the year before we won a championship. Yes, our team was highly disrespected. We're the only Canadian team in the league, so there's a little bit of xenophobia in there, whether you admit it or not, it's there.
I don't want a champion being in Canada again. The city of Toronto is great, but we know Canada loves its hockey. They had their good moments and all of that stuff, but damn it, I want the NBA champion to be an American team.
2, we had made it to the Eastern Conference Finals or close for a couple of years, and we just couldn't get over the hump.
Dribble. It's going to be James. Here it is. James under 3 seconds. Throws up the floater. Good night, Cleveland.
So, of course, if you do that repeatedly over and over again, people are going to start to question, is this team really capable of it? We even questioned it. It wasn't until we got Kawhi and we were able to break through the season after that. But again, if you look at the defensive rating, the offensive rating, we're just not even in the same class as these Thunder. In the 2017-2018 season, the Raptors had a defensive rating of 105.9. We were playing some solid defense. Even better than the Thunder on paper, because the Thunder of this season have a defensive rating of 107.7. And again, you want to be lower in defensive rating. So we actually had a couple points shaved off in compared to the Thunder. However, the difference is on the offensive end. When you look at the offensive rating for those Raptors, they had an offensive rating of 113.8, while the Thunder are at an offensive rating of 120.2. They have better three-point shooting, they have better two-point shooting, they have a better first option, and the second option is definitely debatable. And the differences are glaringly obvious when you look at the overall net rating. The Raptors of 2018 had a net rating of 7.9, while the Thunder this season are at a net rating of 12.6. I mean, even if you want to look at the championship year for the Raptors, 2019, that's the year that we won our ring. I want my chips with dip. We had a net rating of 6. Again, like both seasons, we had like 58, 59 wins. These Thunder have 66 wins. We had the best record or the second best record in the Eastern Conference, but we definitely didn't have the best record in the entire NBA. And then you look at the Thunder, who have the best record in the West and the East. It doesn't matter. So yeah, the Warriors were not even a disrespected 1 seed, so I don't know why you even mentioned them, sir. The Raptors were a disrespected 1 seed, but if you look at the levels of the teams, the Thunder are a better team on almost everything besides defensive rating. And I mean, the defensive rating isn't that big of a gap. So if you're looking at disrespect, If a team is better and you're treating them like they're worse, that's a lot more disrespect that you're showing that team. The Thunder are more disrespected than the Raptors in terms of a 1 seed in history. And then you look at the Hawks and same thing. The Thunder are better in almost every single category when it comes to comparing the 2015 Hawks. And the Hawks were a really good front-running team on the East Coast, but they couldn't even make it to the West. And if they were in the West, their record would be a lot worse. And you can also say the same thing for those Raptors. If they were playing in the Western Conference, that record would drop a whole lot. Because for some reason, since I was born, the Western Conference has always been harder than the Eastern Conference. I've been wishing and hoping that one day it would balance out a bit, but the Western Conference just seems to be way harder to get wins. And so to be this dominant in the Western Conference, I mean, for the second straight season, the Thunder are one of 2 teams to rank top 5 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. The only other team is the Boston Celtics. And still people are saying, oh, that's a fake 1 seed. They're too young. They're too young. So yeah, the Cavs are the most efficient 3-point shooting team in the league by a mile. They're incredible. And if the Oklahoma City Thunder weren't in the NBA and playing like this right now, you would say they are the most disrespected 1 seed. But the Thunder are there. And then you do have to take in consideration the conference. If the Cavs are playing in the Western Conference, do you think their record would be the same as it is? You're shaking your head because you know it wouldn't be. So for all those factors that I showed you in this video, and probably many more that I'm forgetting, Oklahoma City Thunder are the most disrespected 1 seed I have ever witnessed. But the playoffs are around the corner, and a lot of people are going to be throwing up because they ignored this team over and over, time and time again. And they kept saying that, oh, the only way I'm going to believe you is if you won in the past. Like, if that's your only metric for determining the value of a team, if they've won before, then you're always going to be a follower. Like, you're one of those guys that was like, I'm sticking to the typewriter when the computer was coming out. You know, I'm going to stick to watching videos on TV when the internet came out. Like, you're just always behind. They did the same thing for the Warriors. They're too young, they're too this, they shoot too many threes, blah, blah, blah. Yo, you got to be the front runner or something. You got to put some value in Bitcoin before everybody else does, or else you don't deserve anything. I honestly believe that. Anyways, let me know in the comments below, what do y'all think? Did I prove that the Oklahoma City Thunder are the most disrespected 1 seed in NBA history? Or you got some more teams that I didn't mention? Because if it's any of those 4, the Warriors, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Atlanta Hawks of 2015, or the Raptors, I just showed you why you're wrong. But yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know. Maybe there's a team that I missed in the 70s that was more disrespected as a 1 seed. Let me know in the comments. And until next time.